Go over that again.
Sorry.
Yeah, right on 1 to 5. Lost the height.
Where do you have that should be low?
Intro. I guess I'll start. I'm Crackle 486, also known as Crackle, also known as Zach. This is the Chips It Fits panel. The premise is they're going to be showing shipping, presenting what it means in terms of shipping and everything else, and I'll kind of just be, well, maybe not, maybe it's this or whatever. I'm the anti-shipper basically. Something like that. It's the second time tonight.
Discord that. There we go.
I'm Sad Robots, and I am on this panel because I have a degree in psychology and gender studies. So I like watching things and shipping things. So that's why I'm here.
You actually have the right to ship
Dusty up, yes. John Locke, yes. So,
Hobbs all the way, bro.
yeah, that's me.
Hi, I'm Drew Flashy.
Yes, came out of the
Are you doing good, Mario?
Who is that guy?
This is panel number 7 today. Oh, jeez. Yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you for checking. Yes, I am Drew Flashy, or Andrew Flashy, if you would prefer. I actually, when it comes to shipping, I have a sort of what I want to be true, and then what I actually believe. What this panel is about is theoretical romantic, possibly non-sexual. We're going to emphasize non-sexual relationships with the ponies. I mean, just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean you have to make it physical. So we're going to have these theoretical ships be romantic relationships only, just romance. So it's nothing like Clop or anything like that. It's seriously just benign.
Even though it's 2 a.m.
This is a teen-rated panel. It's the only one going on at this time that it is. Everything else is just highlighted in red. But yeah, I actually believe something far drastically different than what I'm going to present. I'm going to tell you what I truly believe after I'm done. Then what I want to believe during the panel and our friendly bout against each other with the shipping. Now, so are we ready to begin?
I think so.
Okay, I have, you may notice Rarity on this list, who has expressed an interest in stallions. She's waiting for her prince. Now, to the plebeian, they would say, oh, she's straight. My mind went, well, she's at least, she's bisexual at most. So I thought we should include her on the list.
Or denial.
She has or in denial, right? She doesn't know, it's called latent homosexuality. You don't know you're actually homosexual, but you are. So, which she can tell you way more about than I can. But the, because she's a psychologist.
Homosexual men are married with children.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know a few.
Right, I also, my music teacher was.
That
I'm
just
married.
makes so much sense.
Or have children. Okay, so when Rarity is on this list, now we've organized them. I have actual material from the show emphasizing the least likely ships, because I can pull the more likely ships right out of my mind, because I pay close attention to the show. I look at it in a different way, I guess. And it's not necessarily a weird way. It's just I like to see the ponies as more real. They're people, and people have desires for romance and companionship. It's nothing that any animal in the animal kingdom doesn't seek. So I look at these, and it adds a sort of depth to their character that I enjoy having in my canon. So it just makes me happy. But these ships are least likely to most likely, and I will be pulling a lot of what I know. 5 is the least likely. So we'll do all the least likely first. So as you can see, I've ordered them. There's not a whole lot of Twilight Rarity, not a whole lot of Twilight Fluttershy, and there's only a little Twilight Applejack. Her most favorite ship is Twi-Sky, Twilight Rainbow Dash. Rarity, but this doesn't include dragons. It's only main 6. Besides, Applejack and Spike ship way more than Rarity ships with
They
Spike.
ship an awful
It's a good
lot.
ship.
Oh, I'm just
I would
kidding.
sail that ship.
I'm not actually kidding, but that's real, but Rarity ships more with him because they've actually kissed twice. But Rarity doesn't ship at all with Dash. At all.
No.
And not with Twilight either. But I'm still going to try to prove that there's something there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of Rarajack, and that also includes the comic, the only one picture from the comic that I will bring up during my arguments that they'll say that's not fair because it's not from the show.
Yeah, we're trying to stick to the show, but it's worth noting that from the comics because it is very weird.
Yeah, it's very weird, and it's my kind of weird. Rainbow Dash, of course, a Rainbow Dash Applejack. I mean, come on, they're making out any second. But the least is Rainbow Rarity. You don't see an awful lot of that. It's just, there's just not a whole lot of evidence there, like I said before. Rainbow Dash Twilight. For Rainbow Dash, there isn't a whole lot of evidence. This is what I meant by there are some ponies whose number 1 might be lower on other ponies' lists because Twilight ships with Rainbow Dash. There's a lot of evidence for that, but there isn't so much with the other direction. Rainbow doesn't really ship with Twilight that much. It's sort of unrequited.
Well, it's not that she ships any more or any less, rather. It's just that she ships more with others.
Right. Fluttershy is extremely difficult to determine everything but her first. Her first one is Flutterdash. Now, that's an extremely popular ship, and I have a gigantic headcanon about that.
Who wouldn't want to shoot with Fluttershy?
I honestly believe that Applejack. Oh no, that's not my honest belief. But what I want to believe is Rainbow and Apple had a fallout. They dated. They broke up. Rainbow was trying to make Applejack jealous of Fluttershy, and then they got back together under Wonderbolt Academy. That's what it is in summary.
Actually, that's pretty good. And you know a fiction about that?
There might be. I have entire stories. I have lore stories about Star Swirl the Bearded, not shipping stories. All right.
Rose the Bearded.
Moving on. Fluttershy Twilight. That was so difficult to find.
I've actually read that.
The only thing I could find off the top of my head was in one episode. I had to get everything else by sifting. Applejack, she definitely ships with Dash more than anything else. But interesting second, Applejack Rarity, which she hates.
Even though it's awesome. Really?
Yeah, but Applejack Fluttershy. Fluttershy doesn't ship anybody. And Pinky's Fluttershy, that's her least one too.
Rarity ships with nobody because she's straight, and Fluttershy ships with nobody because she's going to be the crazy bunny lady.
Was it crazy?
She is a model.
She's A6.
I ship with about half of the people in this room.
Ooh, baby.
Especially those two back there. Oh, and Bob, pretty big Canadians. He's like,
You can tell. Just
but yeah, Pinky Twilight is the biggest ship with them, which I don't find to be sexual in nature at all. Like some of these I do, she doesn't necessarily, but some of these I do feel that there is physical contact there. But Pinky Twilight, there's a ton of that. All right, so special note, you don't. I said discount all the Friendship is Magic parts 1 and 2 because they were introducing the characters and their elements and what they stood for. So none of that counts. It's all personality development. Okay, so the least likely ships that we're going to start with is Twilight Fluttershy. here's the evidence that I have. And this is going to be a little bit too easy for Crackle. In the Ticketmaster, she gives up her ticket second.
Woo. I don't know, man. That's she's following
I
the
know,
leader. It's what Fluttershy does.
Right, it's not even
Fluttershy is first to follow.
Fluttershy's a sub.
Yeah.
Fluttershy's up.
Probably, yeah.
During the Stairmaster, though, Twilight and Fluttershy were having tea together. After Fluttershy saved Twilight's life.
Yeah, well, that might have been why. You saved me.
You saved me, let's have
Tea?
Sex? No.
You hungry? No. Tea?
Tea?
Oh, okay. Okay, we're even then.
You know what? I forgot something. There's something very special that I wanted to be very, very, very well defined that I had forgotten because it's 2 in the morning. There's something called coding.
Oh, right.
It's very important that you all understand coding because coding is extremely important in supporting my arguments. So I'm going to actually turn this over to the actual psychologist to explain what coding is to you guys.
Okay, so in cinematic history, around the 30s, there was something developed called the code. So in movies, basically, it was illegal to have certain things had to be censored, drugs, blah blah blah. The last article of the code that lasted up until the 70s was homosexuality in film. So until it became legal, acceptable to have homosexuality in film, which was a very recent thing. Sorry, because it's 2 in the morning. So what they did was they would input gay characters without them being explicitly gay. And what that led to was that gay people who watch these movies or TV, even though this code doesn't apply to TV, the premise still does. The gay people who watch this, they would be able to point out other people who were gay because you can just tell, you know. So that's the code. So although it's never explicitly stated that any of the ponies are gay or bi or asexual or straight, you can see it. So for example, I'm going to go a little bit into a ship here.
That's fine.
Okay, so for example, Apple Dash, I see both of them as gay. I'm gay, so if I were a little girl watching this show, I would be able to closely identify with them because they would be the most like me. You know, they're a bit boyish and they like each other, you know, and so even though it may not be a sexual relationship, you know, it can still be a romantic one or a crush, you know. So we've seen romantic relationships in the show before, and they're heterosexual, and that's okay. So why isn't it okay to have a gay one? And that's the basic premise of coding. There's also the idea of artistic interpretation. You know, if we didn't see depth in this show, I don't think any of us would be watching it. I mean, these are well-defined characters that we all love and we all relate to in some capacity with all of them. So it makes sense for us to want to see relationships develop between them because we're adults watching a show. Even though it's an amazing show and it's for kids, we can still get more out of it by viewing it as a piece of literature or a piece of art and interpreting what we want to from it. So that's the academic aspect of shipping, and that's why I'm wholeheartedly for it.
And I would also like to make a comment. What you did say was that you just know, but things can be misinterpreted or interpreted differently. So ships are very subjective.
They are subjective, and there's artist's intention, and then there's viewer interpretation.
Yeah.
And so when you analyze a piece of literature, like let's say poetry for example, whatever you want to get out of it is always correct. If you go to an art museum and you look at a painting and it speaks to you because you relate to it out of your own experience, that is correct.
Yeah, it's like that optical illusion with the old woman and the young lady that's in the same picture. You see whichever one you saw first. It might not necessarily be what everybody else sees. It might not even be true, but it's there. You saw it, so it's a valid point because you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also like to say, on the shipping side, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Just because we didn't get everything here doesn't mean something isn't happening off screen or whatever. This panel is to show what happens in the show. So, no ship is technically invalid until it is in the show invalidated.
Right.
And that's why we write fanfic, so that
Yeah.
we can develop these relationships outside the screen. And I'm also way
Tom Bloomberg, OTP.
Tom Bloomberg, best show.
Bloomberg.
so we'll get back to the math side.
I would go
Yeah.
yeah. that shit.
Alright, so that's what coding is. The ability to have the ability, it's gaydar, basically. So you say,
That's a good way of putting it. Yes, it's gay.
I relate to this person in the show, oh, they must be gay, I'm gay. That, see the thing. See, that's why shipping the main six, I'm not necessarily qualified to do, because, I mean, if you can believe this, I'm actually heterosexual. I don't, which...
He's one of those,
I know, right?
He's one of those
This
lazy
is the guy who's like the
We're just gonna open the closet door for you.
Sequence is actually
Right.
You're just a big fan of Liberace.
So, and all of these ships have to do with homosexual females, so something I should know nothing about, but because I've known her for 10 years, I've learned a lot about them.
At the same time, too, it's like you said, relating to a character's wife. I can't relate to that character at all, so they must be gay.
Okay. I showed her the show the first time, and she got excited about watching it because I told her there was a gay shipping thing in it, and she was like, "Oh, all right, let's get to that episode." So
Hetero is boring.
we watched it through. We got to Fall Weather Friends, and 5.5, 6 minutes before the show, like through the episode, she goes, "They're gonna make out at any second."
Sexual tension was killing me.
That was a quote.
so 5 or 6 minutes in. That's right above the that's the
The hoof wrestle, yeah. Excellent.
Hoof wrestle.
You are
They were
obsessed.
I love see, they were doing some other
Every
kind of
second timed out in your mind. Remember.
But, okay, let's get the least likely ones out of the way so we can do some real arguing. In Green Is Your Color, Fluttershy confides in Twilight about Rarity. That's a big thing because Fluttershy ships with Rarity and they're keeping secrets. She really trusts Twilight more than any of the others to keep her secret, but she still needs to tell someone.
Yes, and up to that point, too, we've seen that Twilight is a very trustworthy and problem-solving character, so that could have been why.
I'm friendshipping that one.
Yeah.
There's one more, though.
Yeah, let's see the last one.
In A Bird in the Hoof, they hang out all episode, and Twilight comes to her house uninvited. She just comes in. It's like, hey, what's up? How many people do that to your friends? They're like, what up, man? Oh, what's the pet doing here?
Her house is the library.
Her house is a public.
It's
Her
not
house
really
is a
hanging
public
out so much
institution.
as hiding out.
Fluttershy's cottage is a public.
Oh, I thought you said Fluttershy went to Twilight's house.
No.
Oh, well,
Fluttershy's cottage is.
Okay, well, I got one for that, too.
Rainbow does the same thing all the time as well.
Twilight has
Rainbow's just brash.
Yeah,
Twilight has no understanding of social situations. She'll just go wherever. She doesn't truly understand courtesy so much. The whole first episode was like, friends. She doesn't know what she's doing.
But we have to discount.
They can go into my house whenever they want. I can go into their house whenever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
discount.
You have to discount.
True, but that's not for the. We're discounting that for the shipping, but that's character development from an emotional level. That shows that she is still emotionally immature in that way.
Right. I will also friendship.
That is probably the strongest one on the list though.
Because I will friendship this one because there's relationshiping and friendshipping. I friendship this one, yes.
Also, the fact that Twilight was looking for the Phoenix in the first place, and Fluttershy happens to be the most knowledgeable piece.
Wasn't.
She wasn't.
She did not hear that the princess's pet was missing until she saw Philomena there, and then the captain of the guard came by.
Check herself, you were, I think.
No, I mean that was a good point because I thought the same thing until I saw the episode.
Sassed that one.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be sassy.
You're wrong! Sorry.
Get out!
I didn't mean to be sassy.
I didn't think somebody would.
Does everyone in this room wear glasses? Oh, no, there are a couple of people that don't.
I should.
First row.
to see anything.
If I go like this, I can't see anything. I have no idea what your shirt says. There's a. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shut up! It's late.
We got a lot more of Rainbow Rarity than I actually thought I was gonna get. So Rainbow Rarity, you don't hear a whole lot of fanfics about that one yet.
I have.
Oh, there's a fanfic that ships Rainbow Dash with the kitchen sinks.
Like literally,
Really
really
Yeah, and she gets tetanus. Yeah, it's on fanfiction. It's his fault. It's been a various show.
It's mainly because the fanfiction seems to be able to be person that very.
Right, and it was Rainbow Dash. Okay, in Swarm of the Century, she's doing something that she would never do for anyone else. She is trying on a posh outfit, and that outfit is ridiculous. And it doesn't matter how wonderful Twilight Saga is, it isn't.
As I recall, the only thing I could think against that was she was trying to make a good impression on Celestia because she's wonderful.
Isn't her generosity?
Loyalty.
Otherwise, we'd be here
Oh,
for 3 days.
We're talking about Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash is out of character by wearing a dress. And also, yeah, that's loyalty. I mean, I guess if... But Rarity did say that Rainbow Dash wanted it.
That's true.
So...
Okay, so not that one. During Sonic Rain Boom, this is interesting. She very forcefully commands Twilight and convinces the others to be there for Rainbow Dash and volunteers for the wing spell. Twilight's about ready to go back to shelving her books, and she jabs her with her horn and says, "We'll go on." And she's like, "What the crap are you talking about? We have to find a way to be there for her." She's not loyalty, she's generosity.
Yeah, that is a very, very strong argument for that. The only thing would be that, despite the fact that they are embodiments of a particular element, that doesn't mean they are bound to that element. They do have loyalty and various other things.
Well, and also Rarity's a Dom.
And Rarity probably,
And she spends the remainder of that episode basically.
yeah, she spends the remainder of that episode negating that whole generosity that she just did.
I think it'll be nice now.
I know I was going back to fanfiction where Fluttershy is Dom over Rarity Thumb.
I would read that.
What?
Same.
No.
Say,
So that's
a very strong one,
that's solid.
but not necessarily totally. Like,
Right, it's
absolute
not
lockdown
super
evidence.
convincing. Okay, so
Maybe it's because it was like stage.
it's Sweet and Elite. Rarity hides behind Rainbow Dash at the mention of Fancy Pants. Pinkie Pie says, "Isn't that Fancy Pants?" And she dives behind Dash because I think because Rarity's life was saved by Dash, so she looks to her the most for protection.
Yeah, it could just be that, just a simple, she saved me once, so, Yeah, they're good bros. But it could have also been that Dash was the closest. I don't actually remember that scene well enough to say if Dash was like right next to her or across the room,
She was
Why?
next to her.
Okay, so yeah, like me hiding behind Beth would be not as bad as me going back there hiding behind Bob or something. So.
During Dragon Quest, Rainbow and Rarity were going to have together. Awesome.
It's too.
This was
That's a
limited
little
to
bit
more
raunchy. They were going to have breakfast together.
Oh, yeah.
They come into Twilight's house and like, "Hey, Twilight, you want to have breakfast with us?" Okay. And then she implores Rainbow Dash to stop Spike from leaving. And Rarity smacks Rarity in the face with her rear in the Crackle's cousin that costume. So she basically, Rainbow Dash just thrusts her butt into Rarity's face to hurt her, like to say, shut up. Like I wouldn't do that to Beth. Be like, shut up.
What you do?
Well,
What is this?
argument against the butt slap would probably be that we know Rainbow Dash is athletic, and if she kicked her in the face with her hoop, that probably would have actually really done some damage.
Yeah.
So how else do you say, it's like a little shove, but with your tail. But it was in a costume, so we don't know if it was the tail or the butt.
Right.
Probably the tail.
She begs Rainbow Dash, she says, quick, do something. Instead of saying to Twilight, hey, Twilight, magic him or something. She says to Rainbow Dash instead,
Yeah.
hey, please do something.
But between the two, Rainbow Dash is far more prone to action and success.
Yeah.
Most of the
Yeah,
time.
she does immediate.
But
she's a fence like a rainbow dash.
Twilight thinking on her feet is
Compared to
not always
Applejack,
super great.
everybody's
Oh.
She was thinking on her feet is acting like Rainbow Dash.
What would have paid for
Rainbow
it?
Dash and Rarity were the ones who were harder than you.
Alright, and then at Spike at your service, Rainbow Dash randomly shows up at Rarity's house. So they're just, Applejack is complaining to Rarity about Spike being
Right, she just shows up at the
She
window.
shows up, she's like, hey, what's up? And she,
Yeah.
and of course, Rainbow Dash acknowledges Applejack first. That's
Yeah.
part of the future. But she just shows up at Rarity's house.
It's
She's like,
very,
oh, hey.
it's very
Applejack.
interesting that to talk about a book, she would go to Rarity and not Twilight.
Yeah, but she could have just been on the way there.
Yeah, she could have just been on the way there or telling everyone. We didn't actually, I mean, she got interrupted by that whole Spike nonsense. It could have just been the first stop,
And
or
she does
maybe not even the
really
first stop. She could have stopped at Fluttershy's first. We don't know. But
respect-
given that, again, we're sticking to what they show in the show, and they didn't say that she didn't go to other people's houses or whatever. It's
Right.
like, it's pretty good evidence.
Yeah. The argument is confined by that sort of, that we can't say what she was doing.
We're stuck to, this is what we have, and they have to present what is there, and I can't disagree with something that isn't there.
Yeah, still, I would still say friendship though.
Yeah, it's still,
Yeah.
I mean, you show up to your friend's house sometimes. I mean, I did it in high school. I don't do it anymore because I'm an adult. But,
We got,
yeah, it's just like,
House uninvited.
hi.
I'm writing a book!
But you're neglecting how you walk into my house when you come over them. He's always in cosplay.
Oh,
every
yeah.
single
That's
time.
true, I do show up into D&D and cosplay a lot.
And the doors are
And
locked,
the
so
doors
he
are
just
locked.
comes
I just
in.
walk in.
And he's always the first one there, so I'm alone in my house, and there's just this dude in cosplay who walks in.
Oh, hi. That's not awkward to do.
Oh, Seth.
That's the
You're
second,
like the Wilson from.
that's the second floor, by the way.
Alright. Applejack, Fluttershy. Not a whole lot, but some really funny sort of things. In Dragonshy, she stays behind for Fluttershy to find an entire alternate route and ties her tail around her forehead to drag her up the mountain. Somehow, right? Not in a unicorn. And then she gives constant reassurance the entire episode, even though everyone's always like, God damn it, Fluttershy.
A lot of their elements are interchangeable, and in the show we do see a lot that Applejack embodies loyalty. A lot.
Yeah.
And
There's loyalty in Honest here.
sometimes it seems that the two should switch elements, like Rainbow Dash and Applejack should switch, but that's a whole other thing. That is not entirely just outside of the realm of Applejack being Applejack.
Yes.
Stating my point, their elements are completely irrelevant after the season's over.
A lot of times, yes.
See, my argument for that one is that on the spectrum of gay, Applejack is obviously the butchiest,
Yeah.
and Fluttershy is obviously the most femme. So
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, they would be
Oh,
drawn.
I'd say
that's
it's
very
more
true.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and when I ship Apple Dash, I ship Applejack as the Butch.
Yep.
Just an interesting
A
side.
lot of people think that Dash is really, really tomboyish and masculine. She's not
Well, I
masculine.
think
She's very feminine, but
She's a butch sub.
she's a dyke. Not offensive term. I was told to call a homosexual woman a dyke, and she said she would get very offended if I didn't. Well, she said bull dyke, but
Yeah.
I
But,
don't know terms.
Rainbow Dash does often show a feminine emotional side, but out of all of them, she probably has the hardest time showing it. So when it happens, it's like, oh my god.
yeah.
Did she just rub her nose on Tank? It's like,
she doesn't like expressing her.
no, she doesn't
She's a
express.
tsundere!
Yeah,
For the
Yeah.
love of God, people, use your weeaboo terms.
she's a tsundere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feeling Pinky keen, she rushes to check off to see if Fluttershy's okay after Pinky twitches. Like, Pinky twitches and she goes, oh my god, Froggy Bottom Blog, let's go check on Fluttershy.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same argument as last time, her embodying loyalty, but at the same time, the femdom thing.
Yeah.
That's my woman, let's go! But, All in all, it's basically the same argument as last time.
At the gala, this is a finale ship, which isn't exactly, there's not usually a whole lot of shipping in the premieres of the finales, but at the gala, Applejack is hoof-shining Fluttershy in the salon. Like, why would she go through all the trouble of being terrible to Rarity when they sleep over and then offer to help polish Fluttershy's nails?
Yeah, it does not seem like an Applejack
Shining
thing.
sounds like a kink thing.
little.
Out of context. Just
Oh
saying.
God, I'm gonna rub your foot.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Tarantino
I'm
level
not-
foot fetish.
I'm not entirely familiar with the scene,
Oh, yeah,
so
this
I'm
is
not going to
the
counter it too much.
My bad.
Okay.
It's very odd from the Applejack side. That doesn't seem like something she'd do at all.
Right, at all.
Which is interesting. The only thing I could say, like, I don't know what the other ponies were doing. Maybe everyone else was busy. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm always.
Yeah, it could have just been a favor.
And the final one for this one. Keep calm and flutter on. Fluttershy is helping Applejack with her beaver problem.
It's a T-rated panel.
Fluttershy is good with animals.
Teens have sex.
Who else are you going to get rid of some angry woodland critters? Spike?
Yeah, it's so true.
That's probably the strongest counter argument for that.
And
Applejack is
almost nothing. Pinky Fluttershy in Ghostbusters. This was actually Crackle's suggestion. In Ghostbusters, they are there at the show, but then they're gone, so we assumed Big Gay Adventure.
Yep. We will put this in one time, just because it wasn't in the show. They're still having a Big Gay Adventure.
It might not. Yeah,
there was rainbows and everything.
That was crazy. Like that episode would be blown.
They were there. It was. They just panned over them, and they're like, oh wait, now they're not there anymore.
You see just their backs. You don't even see.
You barely see Fluttershy. You see a little bit of Pinky
That
somewhere.
needs to be canon.
Big Gay Adventure.
My kid.
See, the thing is, we can assume if they're not on screen, they're probably doing something romantically related.
Yeah.
Come on, we've gotten to this point.
Lemon
in the
X,
fandom,
Lemon,
we
right.
can just assume.
Bridal gossip. Basically, Pinky implores Fluttershy to sing for her because she can, and then she
Now that
does.
she had the voice.
That is another one of those really hard ones because that is not something Fluttershy would do. She was super embarrassed about her voice as it was.
Right.
And she's shy.
I think it's
So-
just Pinky being a dick.
Yeah.
Or she could be. Fluttershy's the only one she can bully into singing for her.
That could also be true. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't see Pinkie Pie actually convincing one of the other ponies to
Not
sing
to
for her
mention,
given the
she does have
situation.
Nobody can say no to those
I
pinky
couldn't
eyes,
think of
much
Pinky
less
as one of
Fluttershy.
the-
Oh, yeah.
It's like
But yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably just.
eyes. Hell, that is
She's the
fun.
wild card.
Yeah, she's
She
the
can
wild
do
card.
anything.
She's pansexual.
I was
It's
thinking-
anything.
It's just Pinkie being, okay, you're
I
standing right
think
next to me.
Right, and then feeling Pinky Kane is the same as Applejack.
Yeah.
All right, so since we only have 20 minutes left, I'm just gonna open the big guns and just do this.
Yeah.
Oh, it changed.
It's a different rainbow day.
Apple
Oh, it is a
X.
different Rainbow Dash. How did that happen?
Apple X dash the document. Look at this. Yeah, this is, and I wasn't.
OTP.
Okay, so I have
It is
Page and a half.
the "When I Think About You, I Touch Myself" section. Somewhere over the rainbow, you're bound to find Applejack. So this is a list of all of the times.
I approve. I approve. This should be the name of an academic paper that somebody writes about this.
It is an MLA format.
Yes.
There you go.
Right.
This is.
It's not indented though.
It isn't indented. That's true.
My
Good
God.
call.
Control L, come on.
Did you attend my writing panel? I think you did.
No, actually, it wasn't. One was it?
I did.
Okay, well,
She had a
yeah,
second one just for me.
you were alright at the front.
You should do this in APA.
Okay, so this is a list. This is not even the complete list because we ran out of time for the panel. But this, right, and Crackle, not even close. You're absolutely right. This is a
We may
list
have to
of
do
where
this again sometime.
Applejack or Rainbow Dash touches the other.
Lot.
In Ticketmaster, there's a tail grab, and she says, "Just a pony pick a minute." Special note: they hoof wrestle.
Yeah.
They are the only ones in the show to do this, and they do it twice.
What did you think?
Now,
Once is a coincidence, twice is a pattern. Okay?
Now, the counter argument,
What was your reaction?
the hoof, or the hoof, the
All my
grabbing.
friends with a first broke up.
how else is Applejack
I was
going
probably
to
screaming.
grab
I was
Rainbow
just
Dash?
just beside myself through the whole
She
episode.
could just say, "Hey, Rainbow, stop."
Yeah, because that'll work.
Yeah.
And the whole hoof wrestling thing, it's just the thing sports people do, you know, physical contact in general, competitions. They are both like Equestria's top athletes for different reasons and different categories. The contact, the constant contact, there's a lot of it, and it is an unusual amount, but at the same time too, again, they are both sports ponies, and you see this in sports all the time. I mean, how many times do you see football players bumping and like baseball players slapping each other on the butts and stuff like that, you know?
And who says that's crazy homoerotic?
I totally lick my fellow athletes. I grab them with my mouth and tell them to quit. I mean, doesn't have a possible
If you didn't have
Baseball isn't foul.
I have athletes foot on my face.
Let me swing my wood.
Right, but see, Rarity, no, here's my counter argument for that, because Rarity, when she's trying on the posh outfit, she holds her down with her hoof. When Twilight
but at the same time,
she uses
But
her
there's a
magic.
different
That's the
elevation.
same time, that's because she had, there was a tail and a table. Not in the air. I mean, you're not going to be able to grab a tail. That's why
They
they
don't
do
have fingers.
That's not practical.
The athleticism and them touching all the time in the athletic, it also shows like their personality compatibility.
Yeah,
So
that
it's like the
too.
beginning that they realize that they have this huge thing in common, that they're both like these really athletic people
Yeah, like
who are very physical.
they touch a lot.
Yeah,
but
there's another one in Dragon Shy. There's a tail grab again. Hold on now, we all go together. That sounds like
Honestly,
loyalty to me.
I think the tail grab, between tail grabbing and grabbing, I think the tail grab is the weakest just because they have no hand.
We'll get to the grabbing.
Yeah, but the grabbing, there's a lot of grabbing.
Bridal gossip.
And falling off.
Applejack doesn't react to being in Rainbow Dash's mouth. She puts reins on her with ease and acts so natural.
Because
Why
she's done
would
it, like, so
she
many
not ever say anything about being in Rainbow Dash's mouth if she's not used to being there?
Or
Right, and the counter argument here is the only time I will use this counter argument. It's a cartoon, it was funny.
Yeah.
The rain thing is, they are horses, it's a visual cue, it's funny. That's the only time I will say it's funny because it's a cartoon. She is funny. But
I actually have pictures
Yeah,
of this
he has
for you.
pictures.
But Swarm of the Century. Rainbow Dash is hanging off of Applejack for little to no reason. She could be scared of the Paris Sprites because they just right?
yeah,
Totally
they wrecked her
shipping
shit.
this.
They did.
Oh no, Ian's your OTP.
yeah,
He just commented on my Facebook.
Okay, anyway, Swarm of the Century, she may have been scared, but the Paris Sprites were chasing her and hid behind Applejack, but still, that enforces that she's the femme, Applejack is the butch, and that's, she's hiding behind her. Same thing with Rarity. All of fall weather friends, am I right?
It could have just been the established relationship of physical contact. Friends do stuff like that sometimes.
I don't know what kind of friends you are.
No, yeah, you do. In real life, we have a D&D group that we have.
We don't wrestle!
No, we do, sorry.
Matt
does.
In D&D, we had a character named Matt. Or his name is Matt, and we have a friend named Phil. And Matt would literally curl up in Phil's lap, or hang off of him, or lay on him.
He was like this.
Yeah, like the entire time. But he was not gay. He was just doing it because
it's true.
it's funny. But yeah, not because it's funny. It's just, it's the way they are. It's just something that they do. It could be something like that. It's very odd, but not necessarily romantic shipping.
All right, the Mary Duell episode. She grabs Applejack, pulls her in close. How would you like to be immortalized as my friend?
During which
Come here! The one that's photo edited to make it look like they're French kissing.
But what episode was that? I forgot.
Mary Duell.
Mary Duell.
You can't argue against that.
I probably can with the same argument as physical contact, or like. realizing the way that Applejack is, you know, she instigates physical contact all the time too. Even if they're not that kind of friend, the physical contact would imply that, you know, maybe Rainbow Dash realized that and, you know, started touching Applejack too because she touches her, so why not?
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to argue this at 2 in the morning.
Make a permanent image of them being close together.
It's all a ploy to get into Big Mac's saddle.
There is some shipping with that. The last roundup, Rainbow Dash just outright pounces Applejack, and that also happens. Applejack outright pounces Rainbow Dash and fall brother friends. They're not, I mean, I might grab you or touch you guys as a friend, but this is different. I wouldn't just run up to you and go, rah, unless it was Dino. But we already shipped it.
That is the kind of shit you and my bros do.
Lumping is a thing in real life, so it could be that, or it could be also, in terms of last roundup, Applejack did basically run away. I mean, Rainbow Dash could have just been, I'm leaping on top of you so you can't leave.
I like to see the bumping, just to see if it actually exists.
There's a lot of bumping in the show.
In Crystal Empire Part 1, another finale / premiere, the bro hoof, Applejack pulls Rainbow Dash's tail, they bro hoof because they're trolling Rarity, and Applejack puts her hoof around Rainbow Dash. She sneaks up all crazy, like cartoon style too.
Oh, yeah,
Applejack gets up behind Rainbow Dash, her hoof comes around like this, and then she goes, hi. You can't see, you entirely cannot see her behind Rainbow Dash, and she just pops up.
Yeah.
Things are more
Okay.
special when they're
The bro hoof could just be that, the bro hoof. What was the first one?
The bro hoof.
The first one was bro hoof, or was it before that? Okay. And, oh, the tail grab. I've already explained the tail grab. I've already kind of explained the grabbing. I believe in that situation she was trying to convince her to do something, right?
Yeah, she was trying to convince her to go joust with Fluttershy.
Yeah, so it's like, hey,
which is another
you
story.
need to go do something, alright?
With a very
Dude, I don't know.
loud object and Fluttershy.
Alright, here are my notes. This is something that Crackle actually, Doug is engraved with. He pointed this one out to me. In Applebuck season, Rainbow Dash very uncharacteristically puts Applejack before herself. This is
Season 1, like before any Rainbow
Yeah,
Dash
this is pre-Mare Duel and all those Rainbow Dash character development episodes. She says, I thought I was working with Ponyville's best athlete. Putting herself at number 2. That's not something Rainbow Dash would ever do. Unless she was hitting on her.
Or it was
I never
sarcasm.
noticed sarcastic mockery.
Yeah. Like, you know,
Or
I thought you were a real panelist or something like that, you know?
that episode where everyone's on stage singing out with extra credit, like, Applejack's so awesome. She's not
Yeah.
saying, I'm awesome, she's saying, Applejack's awesome.
Right, that's my counter for that, is that my rebuttal would be that no, it's not sarcastic, because just earlier she did the so awesome face.
Yeah.
That
I don't
is
think
not-
she actually, in that particular situation, just put Applejack ahead of herself, though. She just said it's going to be so awesome.
What?
She's going to help me with a trick.
When
She
I
said-
flirt, I compliment people excessively,
True, true.
and I am the most arrogant
That is,
person ever.
to me, that's probably the strongest argument on the list.
Because
And
it's
I'm
yours.
the one who found it, and I hate that I'm the one that found it.
And that's so awesome is a perfect example of the fact that Rainbow Dash is feminine.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is a good, that she is feminine.
It can also be that she's just adding the subtext to every time she speaks, like, other than me, of course, is the way she kind of speaks.
Yeah, like Bender. Every
Right.
time I said,
Aren't you the best
destroy all
one?
humans,
Oh,
I
you-
meant except fry.
Right.
Oh my god, that's a perfect comparison.
Yeah, that is a perfect
Rainbow
comparison.
Dash
I'm
is
good at
Bender.
Rainbow
metaphors.
Dash is Bender. Alright, we got it. Apple
Don't get Bender for a while.
Also, we're OTP, guys.
Robosexual. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said Romo. Okay, Griffin the Brush Off. Rainbow Dash hides at Sweet Apple Acres first when Pinky's chasing her. Yeah, okay, it could be the closest place, but...
Or just the best place to hide.
It's a farm.
I mean-
It's got everywhere to hide.
Yeah, I was.
Pinky is more of sweets, not of healthy apples.
Gilda, the junior flight camp best gal pal, is code for my first lesbian experience.
Her hair.
One side.
Her hair!
Prettiest hair ever. It's
Those are
it's
feathers.
Defining. Okay, whatever. It's a butch cut.
It's like the stereotypical lesbian.
All follow other friends, specifically the apple smack / apple snack line. In the transcript it reads smack. I'm still not convinced. I think she's saying apple snack. I know I want to hear that, and that's why I'm hearing that, but I did review it 15 times, and so I still have to put both though, because I'm not sure. I will put the benefit of it out there. Applejack constantly touching Rainbow all episode. AJ and RD argue all episode, but when something distracts them, like Twilight joining the race, they immediately team up and laugh at her. And then the end shot. The end shot.
Yeah, the end shot. The end shot. Several times.
Everybody stops what they're doing to laugh at Twilight.
Okay, true.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't. What is the line you were talking about with apple snack or apple what?
She says, all right, apple smack, because she's talking smack, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
You still have another throw or whatever.
I got you. So the line is she's insulting her with snack,
I
but
don't-
it sounds like snack.
It
No,
was
she just wants.
We can verify that with Netflix later.
We'll verify later.
Or yeah, like anything you see here that you're not sure about, watch the episode. You know.
In the Sonic Green Boom episode, Applejack said, I would say, I'd love to see you strut your stuff in that competition. Rainbow Dash smiles softly, and then Applejack mentions Rainbow is the only one to ever pull off the Sonic Green Boom.
Let's forget Sonic Green Boom. Strut her stuff.
Strut her stuff? That's really the non-sexual way to say, hey, Zach, I want to see you strut your stuff at the panels tomorrow.
Hey, bro, strut your stuff. Hey, strut your stuff, bro.
Well, I mean,
Right, strut your stuff, bro. Go
out
out
of
there and do
all
that.
the ponies, maybe except for Rarity, but possibly not, Rainbow Dash struts.
Strut your stuff.
So telling her to strut her stuff could have just meant, it's what you normally do anyway. So
And they are horses.
It's
So
also
they
an
can strut.
exhibition.
A good practice would be if you could say this line in the beginning of a porn and it fits, it's gay.
Nobody pays attention to the story of porn, so you can put anything in there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm a pizza delivery guy.
This is why we're those are the plots.
I mean,
I don't like
we don't even have.
I don't
Someone-
I've read
like
them too.
Okay. During Over a Barrel, they are seen together planting Bloomberg. And that entire episode is a lover's spat between Rainbow Dash, who is on Little Strongheart's side, and Applejack, who is on Brayburn's side, with her family. It's not Brayburn versus Little Strongheart. It's Applejack versus Rainbow Dash.
In the episode, it's those two actually are trying to meet an arrangement, and the sheriff and the chief are just being douches.
Right, but see, Brayburn and Little Strongheart are the delegates.
Well, yeah.
But then Applejack and Rainbow Dash insert their own words into their mouths constantly.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, they're also basically just warriors that talk. The real I hate you, you must die" kind of thing is coming from the Buffalo and Sheriff. Mostly.
And hey, Bloomberg was really special to Applejack.
Yeah.
So
Bloomberg, her planting Bloomberg is weird, and Rainbow Dash is, again, the other athlete pony. I mean, it just makes sense that for the physical labor to get Rainbow Dash.
In Legend Zero, Rainbow Dash is explicitly asked to destroy Applejack's barn.
Who else?
Why wouldn't Twilight just go blam and just be done?
Because honestly, I have a theory that I don't think Applejack likes magic very much.
Yeah,
I don't think she likes magic. She barely tries to resort to it, and every now and then she will. But for the most part, she seems to be, bucking in physicality. She doesn't like, But yeah, that one is a little interesting, and it could have also just been in there because of the visual gag of the explosion with the mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, where else are you gonna put that in?
Which was awesome.
Don't forget, Twilight threw her magic a lot over the stairs.
Yeah, that's very true.
I didn't even explode.
Yeah, Lesson Zero was season 2, episode 3.
I remember the Paris sprites, Twilight.
Yeah. In the Marry-Well episode, she chooses Applejack to be immortalized as her friend. They almost kiss. Last roundup, the whole episode, and then Applejack and Rainbow Dash trolling Rarity in the Crystal Empire Part 1. I just want to get to these pictures.
That is interesting because it seems more like Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie would have done.
I rest my case. I do not look at my friends like that. They're adorable and they're looking right into each other's eyes. They just started the relationship. They probably went and slept under a tree together non-sexually, just spent the night together. It's wonderful.
That's the thing about this kind of animation too, is like with anime, it's the same thing. The eyes are just like, you can misinterpret anime and eyes like that all the time.
You cannot misinterpret.
You can't.
This is some Applejack on Rainbow Dash.
Literally, they just fell like that.
They felt like that, but they're not really.
It's like, oh,
My
this is
bad.
an accident, but it's not.
Right, but it's, I'm gonna just
Weren't they arguing?
Right.
Untying your
I think. Okay,
She is clearly looking at Twilight's ass. She even got the tongue out. That ass. It's not that ass. It's she's looking over at Applejack because Applejack mentions how awesome the dragons are, and she immediately goes, "Dragons, they're lame. I'm awesome." Trying to impress her. But if you follow the train of her eyes, she's thinking that to Applejack's neck.
Actually,
I really like your jowls.
They're ponies, you don't know what they
seem
like.
to be in that whole trough is like they're actually leaning towards the entire group. It's kind of like she's just showing off to everyone in the whole.
That's true. I like to think that the reason her eyes are in that position is because they wanted you to see that. They wanted you to see those eyes. As a side note, all these ones where their eyes look like that, they are not in the middle of blinking. Their eyes were like that for a second or two. Like, it's not blinking. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he saw me take these shots. I am on both sides. This is Twilight and Rainbow Dash realizing they're in a show, a cartoon show. No, Rainbow Dash is was this the Paris Bright thing? Yeah, this is Rainbow Dash is hanging off of Applejack.
She's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, both of them are. Twilight's like, what are you looking at?
Rainbow Dash, why are you looking at the camera?
Not the Paris.
No, they're gay.
Okay, so this scene is from the Mystery Express. Rainbow Dash says, I think I'm gonna hit the hay and go to bed, and then Applejack's like, yeah, I think I will too, and starts following Rainbow Dash, and they both have the bedroom eyes. We're gonna go have some. But so does Rarity.
Yeah, Rarity.
Hey!
Yeah, well, Rarity's looking at me.
Hey, that's really good.
Pinkie is drunk.
Pinkie's just the guide.
Pinkie's a little drunk.
There's the notorious shot.
Kiss.
Yeah, that constantly gets edited, but that's the real shot. And she gets closer, it's just her going behind.
It's
like,
very
her right here.
It's very interesting to note that the hoof is not actually over the shoulder, but at the back of her
back
head,
of
like
the
you
head.
would do to draw someone into a kiss.
Right, exactly.
Or other things.
True. But I couldn't say for sure if this is. I don't remember if this is for sure. He froze it there and did it, or she puts her arm on the shoulder. I don't. She does end up putting her arm. Okay, so that's just the way he froze it. Okay, so this is.
Well, we're done.
Animaniacs. Good night, everybody. This is Applejack in Rainbow Dash's mouth.
It works very well for a visual gag.
She pops out and says, "Oh, Rainbow, thank goodness." And then gets on her with a bitten bridle.
To be fair, if you
Oh,
had
baby.
came out of
Nowhere,
something's
by the
happening
way.
you'd be glad it's a friend at that point.
That is
Also,
true.
I don't know about the rest of you, but when I get really annoyed, it often overrides a lot of other emotions. And she was very annoyed at being left in a tree by her little big sister.
Yeah. And they're so close together right now. Their noses the animation is overlapping. They're that close. They're actually
yeah, they're very close.
You don't do that.
As I recall, though,
Just like you just did.
Well, I am demonstrating, and she's gay, so.
the thing about this scene is,
I am not gay.
the thing about this scene is why they get close together to a lot. I think,
Okay, no cheating, but still.
I think why they get this close a lot, that face to face like that, is because Rainbow Dash clearly gets into ponies and other creatures' faces a lot. And Applejack is stubborn. She doesn't back down. So she's not going to back off when Rainbow Dash gets in her face.
He's like
Are
Tom
you
Petty.
comfortable putting your nose against?
I am not Rainbow Dash.
Those eyes. She's in the middle of saying, excuse me, but, no, she's in the middle of saying, what the, because kicking her actually worked.
Yes, this is clearly not right. This is supposed to be Tuesday.
I actually titled this picture just like in the bedroom. It's up there.
Yeah.
But I actually have, I wasn't just focusing on Appledash, I really wish I could get to
Yeah.
Rarajack and also Twi-Pi and a lot of the other good ships, but I do have a couple of other pictures I
ShipCon
managed to
2000.
scrounge at the scrounge up from others that are kind of conspicuous. This one is of Pinky and Rainbow Dash. Pinky is smiling, Rainbow Dash is smiling, rubbing up against her face with her tongue out.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
That's a little bit, you know. Hey.
And
Next panel. I'm going to show them the rest of these pictures and I'll be done.
Okay, the tongue out thing was probably just the way the picture was frozen. I can't entirely recall.
What? He throws his headbutt me.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
And the pinky thing is because she's pinky.
True.
That's hilarious. Thank God she's not.
No means no.
Fluttershy says, oh, Jesus. And Dash is like, oh, yeah.
this thing needs a trigger warning.
What's the
Not
same
normal.
for Rainbow Dash?
Dumb.
That hug was like 3 minutes of the episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It lasted forever. And Pinky goes crazy when Dash
Pinky
is
goes
gone.
nuts in that episode.
She goes like crazy Donnie Darko old lady crazy.
Start saying Frank and everything.
That's pretty cute. This is Applejack. I took a picture of this. I know Twilight's got her overextended hoof.
OT3.
Look at
OT3.
poor Pinky in the background. She so wants to be in that hug.
Applejack is consoling Rainbow Dash for just giving up on her dreams, and this is where, in my headcanon, Rainbow Dash forgave Applejack for abandoning her in the last roundup, and that's when they got back together.
Look at Rarity, too. She's
Rarity's like, what?
my Applejack.
And then
No.
Fluttershy's just there.
Okay, that is...
I'm not even going to argue this one.
She is trying to hold her down for a kiss.
Go home, Pinky, you're drunk.
And this is the
This is the
notorious
Oh, God, no, no,
the
no.
smooch sound effect. That's the pause. It's kissing her on the nose.
Apparently, this clip has been broken down sound-wise. It's actually overlapping 4 different sounds, and it just happens to really sound like a kiss.
Interpretation.
And then this is the last one. For whatever reason, Pinky has both legs down when she's hugging Fluttershy, and then she just raises her leg.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that when I hug Dino.
It's probably, again, as a visual gag for the show, or Pinky being Pinky, but I noticed that when we were watching it, it was very odd.
That is odd. She just raises her leg. But yeah, this has been If It Fits It Ships. This is a lot of evidence that we
Hey,
have.
we just need ShipCon
Again,
2014.
I think we might submit another panel for Trotcon next year called
Hey, I'm serious, guys.
Yeah, I think we might do a part 2 of this. Yeah, I might submit.
It might need to be longer, but at the same time, we won't have all the other garbage shit.
Yeah, we should book the good
And a lot more evidence.
I don't know what that is. That's awesome.
Everybody knows Spider-Man. Okay.
All right.